Hey guys. So for this episode, we wanted to start off by reading a quote by Richard G. Scott. Yeah, go ahead, Desi.
Richard G. Scott said, beyond physical attraction, what are the qualities that people should look for in a long-term relationship? Yeah, like what are some qualities that you think are important in a potential person besides the physical? Obviously, we want to be attracted to her future spouse.
Do we? Just kidding.
Well, I don't know about you. I sure do.
Okay.
I think the physical is very important, but like we mentioned before, that someone that you weren't exactly, head over heels for could become attractive as you get to know them.
Yeah.
But I think physical is something that we definitely all want.
Yeah. No, I'm really sad because like every couple of years I would make a list of things I wanted in a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And like I got rid of a few of them because one of my girlfriends got offended that she didn't have a lot of stuff
She
on
didn't
them.
meet the
And
requirements.
I was like,
on your
you realize
list?
I was 16 when I made this list, right? Like these lists have changed dramatically. Like even the looks on them. Like I think
Yeah.
for like a good 3-year stretch, I had to be a redhead, just like straight up.
I could peg you as someone that
Yeah.
wants to be with a redhead.
And then like all of a sudden it was just like, nope, won't ever date a redhead. Like
I'm trying to set you up with one.
I'm just saying it changes. Like
It's true.
all
It's
of
true.
those stupid points were all when I was younger, obviously.
Well,
but
and
like,
I think that's something that growing up we do or we teach, especially in young women's.
mhm.
I can't tell you how many times we sat down and made a list of the qualities and attributes that we want to have in a spouse. And
I got a question about that.
yeah,
How often do you think girls in general are honest about what they put on their list in young women's? Because there's kind of like that cultural pressure of
you should
know,
have these specific
right,
things.
right, or you should be putting these types of things. Because like even like when I went to EFY, there was like this pressure of like do stuff to do it in a specific way. Like it wasn't like explicitly told to you, but you kind of had this like feeling of wanting to fit in.
Yeah, no, I agree. A lot of times it was, the basics. You want to get married in the temple, so you want someone that's temple worthy.
Mm-hmm.
You also want a return missionary,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of qualities or requirements, I guess, that we put on these lists. But then as I got older, I was thinking more like, yes, I would love a return missionary. However,
Mm-hmm.
if he didn't go on a mission because of, several different reasons, that's not gonna be a deal breaker. Whereas
Yeah.
when I was 13 filling this out originally, that was a deal breaker. And so,
Well, some of the
I mean,
things that I've even heard, like from my sisters and stuff, is that they have to like have like a well-paying job, and like I've heard
mhm.
of girls who are like has to be like a doctor or a lawyer and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And
Well,
not that those things are bad, but it's like
But you just set almost unrealistic expectations
right.
where so I had a problem with this growing up. I'll admit it. This is one thing that I'm a little ashamed of. But I had a list,
Uh-huh.
and it wasn't just 5 points. It was probably like 4 pages front and back.
Oh wow.
It was novel. Like, I don't know. It was bad. And I was so specific.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was like 16. I don't know. But I had down to like what I think his name would be. Like the ultimate perfect guy that I had in my
Mhm.
head, had all these qualities, was this tall, drove a truck, but it couldn't be like a red truck. It had to be a different color truck.
Yeah.
And I wanted like blonde hair, blue eyes, and everything was super specific on the qualities and like how often he went to the temple, and there's just so many things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at it one time and I'm like, wow, I'm really like limiting my perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no guy out there. If there was, I don't even know if I would really want him at the end of the day, because he was flawless. He had
Right.
everything perfect according to like what I thought perfection was back then. And one, like, why would someone that has all these perfect things want me at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, insecurities. But also, there's not that person that exists. And so if I'm going to bed at night, Heavenly Father, like, I want these qualities, I'm not going to get that.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and there's no room for error or like actually, I don't know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, but
Well, actually, that made me think of something. This lady, she wrote this book and she did this like huge study on settling and like what it means to settle and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And she basically interviewed a whole bunch of guys and girls, or women and men, and
there you go, being offensive again. Just kidding.
But yeah, so she did this huge study. She interviewed a whole bunch of men and women, and she asked them kind of about their list, and if somebody of the opposite sex only had 80% of the stuff on the list, would they be content? Would they say, yeah, I would marry that person or commit to them or whatever? And overwhelmingly, the guys all said yes, that would be amazing. And overwhelmingly, the women said no.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'll link that to the study and stuff down below. But yeah, and so I think it's interesting that we do all have our lists. That's all standard. And I think it just comes down to, like you were saying, like the perfect guy is going to have all this stuff. I don't think your list in and of itself was wrong. I think
it was really wrong.
But I think it's the need for the list to be completely fulfilled that becomes the problem.
So you're saying like it's okay to have like a wish list, but not
Mm-hmm.
because mine was more like majority of it was a deal breaker list.
Mm-hmm.
It was really bad, and then I remember being really dramatic and just ripping it up, and I'm sure I like burned it or something, buried the ashes. I don't know, but it was just like just one of those moments where I realized that I should only have a few things on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote a new one that is applicable to many, many different people. But it shouldn't be to a point where it's a deal breaker if they don't look a certain way or they don't have certain attributes or qualities. Because, again, we want to marry potential and not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was 13 years old, like... like there's no way
There's a lot more room for potential.
But I remember later on, you know, like I had that list for a while, and then I ended up, you know, just getting rid of it. But I ended up meeting a guy that, because I would say like something like I want him to have like the truck situation, like a black truck, white truck, whatever, any color truck except for red, and this guy had a red truck. I said, you know, all these things I said on my list. No, that had like, because I had specific things on there that I don't want him to have, and then I met a guy that had all these random things that I said that I didn't want, and it did open my eyes where like it's not a bad thing, like, but it was just, my mind was just so narrow and just so, I don't know, not open to possibilities of like super stupid with
Sure. One thing I was thinking about is that like we always think of it as like making the list as if like we're setting the standard in the moment, but I feel like it's more convincing ourselves when we write it down. Sometimes we're not honest because like the list exists. I can take somebody, put them in front of you, and you can say yes or no. And that yes or no is dependent on, do they have enough of that list written down or not? And so I think sometimes when we write it down, like we're trying to be more specific. Does that make sense? Like there's an internal list, whether or not we write it down.
Yeah. And I think that it's okay to be picky to a certain extent.
Sure. 80%.
80%. I had a guy, an old coworker, who super great, but very uncharacteristic of him, came in one day and was like, Des, you are getting old, you need to get married, start your life, have a family, and he's like, you need to just marry the next guy that asks you out and just settle.
Yeah.
So he told me to settle, and I was just, you know, people wonder, you know, we talk about settling a lot, but I was kind of taken back by that, where did you literally just tell me to settle on someone? And maybe we had different definitions of what that word means, but for me it was just, you're too picky and you just need to get married, and like your time's running out, just take whoever you can get.
That was
well,
that was actually what this lady who did the 80% study, her conclusion is that people's definition of settling differs by gender, whereas with women they see settling as failure. Like,
yeah, I agree.
like you couldn't cut it. The documentary that you had me watch, the Science of Sex Appeal,
Mm-hmm.
they have people that they're assigned numbers 1 through 10 for guys and then 1 through 10 for girls.
They
And
put it on their forehead.
on their forehead. So you can't see your number, but you have to try to pair up with somebody. And the idea is that you want to get the highest number possible. And they had one girl who monologued her entire thought process while she was going through. And she would walk up to these numbers, and basically anything that was below 5, her first thought was, I could do better. I can do better. I can do better. And at the end of the thing, she settled with the 3. And she literally said, well, I guess this is all that's left. And, like, it's crazy because it was like, there was no satisfaction at all. And it's interesting that there was no prize at the end of this. It wasn't like you got paid more for the study if you got a higher number.
Right.
You could have literally just walked up to the person who had a 1 on their forehead and paired up with them and been done. Like, that was it. Like,
but the whole purpose of it was trying to get the highest number to match with you.
Well, not to match, just to get the highest number you could. And so I think for like what qualities like we should look for, it kind of made me think of, you know, are we just trying to get the best we can, or are we trying to like find like real happiness with it?
That's a good question. Like, I think in dating, if we try to go for the person that we think is a 10, like, do we really want them? Like my list, do I really want someone that has all of those qualities and everything because that's what I think is perfect? Or would I be more happier with someone that just loves the Lord and that, you know, has a kind heart and is patient and loyal and dependable and stalwart? Like, I much rather have those qualities in someone that makes 6 figures or that, you know, can...
Yeah. And I mean, we all say that, but like, I can tell you that like,
You'd rather have the...
No, I lean towards the shallow end. Like we're talking about, like we can all write down what we think things should be. But at the end of the day, inside, you know, you can't change that truth about what you are holding on to. Like, you decide what your list is inside your heart, kind of thing. And so we can all say, you know, yeah, no, I really am looking for that person. No, I'm not picky. No, I'm not shallow. No matter what you say or what you write down, in your heart is really what you're searching for. Yeah. And so I think we all want to get the best. But I think that it comes down to, like, why? Because I know when it comes down to, like, on the shallow side, like, it's selfish and carnal. Like, that's the motivation, like, at the end of the day.
Do you think it's really selfish to want to be attracted to someone, or like want someone that...
To want somebody who's attractive to fulfill carnal desire.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
is this
gotcha.
like...
Well, what qualities should people look for? Or are you saying that that's just dependent on who you are and what you want in your internal or written down list?
Yeah, I mean, like... I guess that's kind of the question is like, what part of the list is negotiable?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that comes down to your deal breakers, right?
What do you think? What should people look for?
What should people look for? I think probably the number one quality that I look for is his love for God and his relationship with Heavenly Father. Obviously, I'm not looking for someone that has a perfect understanding or you know, just...
So how would you recognize that? Like, is he praying every day? You go to Subway or fast food, and before you walk away, he's like, let's pray.
No. It's just in the way... I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some out and tell me. Okay. Like, trustworthy, honest, dependable.
Cheerful, thrifty, kind. That's the Boy Scout thing.
I know.
So you want a Boy Scout.
So you're saying you want a Boy Scout. So, Brian, what are some qualities that you think are more like universal or something that we should look for in a spouse, a potential companion?
I mean, outside of the physical, it's So I really like to be like adored.
Mm-hmm.
It's super corny, but I mean, I think it kind of, the best way to find that out is just go look at your love languages and find out which one points to it. I don't know. Mine doesn't really fit into any of specific love language because it's not like words of affirmation or
all the
gifts.
above.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. I didn't have any relationships like in high school, so that cutesy, corny high school crap, like, I
So
love
you're
it.
making up for last time now.
Yeah. Like freaking glitter. I don't know what it is. Girl puts on glitter and it's like 2 points.
What?
Yeah.
That does that for you, huh?
I have no idea why. But true story.
Oh, fetish. The guy puts on a tie and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Cowboy hat. Pulls up in a truck.
Just the cowboy hat.
Oh gosh. Dork. Pulls up in a truck. Gone.
Just the truck.
Shut up. Stop it. Okay, so you thinking that more along the lines of a quality or characteristic is someone that sees you for who you are and adores that part of you or expresses in a way.
I guess more the expression.
Mhm.
Like, yeah. Like, I mean, like,
Because we all want to feel loved and we all want to feel accepted by our person.
I mean, we are what we do. So
Mhm.
it's like, I mean, yeah. I don't think long term you're gonna have somebody who's gonna adore you outwardly, like with
Mhm.
express adoration. Somebody's not gonna express adoration towards you long term if they don't feel it inside.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, I'm more, at least in the short term, it's easier to see it in expression rather than confirming the inside of it.
Mhm.
But yeah, basically just little things that I guess being thoughtful and feeling like that I'm getting something back.
I think humor for me is a really big one. I
Mhm.
mean, we all have different types of humor, what we think is funny, but
Are you into dark humor?
no.
Okay.
No, I'm like a Disney princess, man.
Okay. Disney can get dark.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't
So
do things
humor,
with you.
just not
Okay.
no dark
No,
humor.
humor is really important to me because I think if you can't laugh together, if you can't, it's part of communication with me. I wanna be with someone that is my best friend or that I can talk to, and the physical is great, but I mean the passion and all of that, like the initial physical kind of fades over time.
Mhm. So you want to
hopefully
hear,
not too much.
you want to hear
but
a dating tip?
I would love to
Is
hear a
that
dating tip.
if you can make somebody laugh 3 times in like 5 or 10 minutes, that they'll just laugh regardless after that point. Like, you are funny at that point.
You've made it.
Yeah, because it's like you've socially programmed your interaction
With them to be funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so all the guys out there, get a girl to laugh just lightly, and then do it again, and then
Pretty soon.
third time get like the real laugh, and then you're golden. You can tell dumb jokes all night long.
Perfect. As I laugh. You're a dork.
You laugh at everything.
I do laugh at every. I laugh.
Well, laugh at everything I say.
What?
I'm the magic.
Oh my gosh. You're such a dork. For me, laughing is my go-to emotion.
Yeah.
So I laugh when I'm nervous. I laugh when I'm happy, sad,
Displeased.
displeased, frustrated, annoyed. But I have several different laughs. It's kind of like Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. Have you seen that? Where she has like 5 different laughs. I have about 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess which one I'm laughing at now. Just kidding. Guess which one this is.
Which one you're laughing at?
My true laugh sounds like an old man,
Yeah.
like wheezing for air. Just like
You also make different faces when you laugh. Like the way you hold your face is different. Because like you do the like the squinty laugh like that. And then like there's the like slack shot laugh where you're like
nobody can see that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so humor is really important, and I think for me it's dependability. Because I usually,
what kind of dependability?
just if you say you're gonna do something and you do it,
Mhm.
or just communication. Communication, I feel, is the most important thing in any relationship. And if you're not able to communicate, then you don't have.
Would dependability be kind of like a sense of security in
Yeah.
communication?
Yeah, I think so. But
because when I think of dependable, I think of like doing favors, whereas like with security, it's more like somebody's consistent and open in communication, so you're never like doubting anything about them.
Yeah, no, it's more the second one where you have that open communication. They say that they're going to do something and they follow through, or they're just true to their word and honest, and not just trying to say things just to say stuff. But
Right. So another thing too is like one thing that I'm attracted to is because I don't know if this really counts as physical or not, but like physical ambition, because like I don't need somebody to be a model. Like I'm not like a bodybuilder, but I have physical ambition. Like I want to become better physically, and so somebody who has that same physical ambition, I want somebody who hasn't given up on physical improvement. Like I always want to be trying to improve physically, and so for me, seeing that in somebody else is important, because then at least you both can like work off each other, and you both want to become better. Because if both of you just like don't care,
motivation,
right?
Drive.
So having ambition for that, because I know some people are like, I'm okay how I am, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me personally, that's kind of
quality that you're looking for, is that
kind of like the matching of the goal kind of thing. Like you want to match up those the desires to have end results.
Yeah, and even if there's certain goals that they have that don't really line up with what you like to do, or what's necessarily important to you, the important thing is you're being supportive and helping them to reach their goals.
Genuinely and consistently supportive. Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah, I think that's important.
Consistency. But yeah. Any other?
I mean, like, I feel like there's a lot, and they're kind of vague, which I think is good, because, when we have our unwritten list, it allows a variety of different people to enter your life. But ultimately, I want someone that loves God and that makes Him a priority in their lives. Will do the hard things, keeping the commandments, because he loves the Lord, and not just because he has to, or it's a responsibility for him. Because, like the Family Proclamation, it says that happiness in family life is most likely to be achieved when founded upon the teachings of the gospel. And I believe that you can have happiness in your relationship, but if you don't have the same common goals or standards, or just an outright love for the Lord, it makes it harder to be on the same page, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
In conclusion, I think just maybe take out those lists, or write them down.
I think like keep an open heart. I think of like, I don't know what I don't even know what to say about the list, but I think,
or like I would say, when I'm saying take them out, like, and look at them or write them down, is do a self-evaluation of what really is on my list. What have I been potentially looking for this whole time, and is it reasonable? Is it authentic? Is that what I really, really want? And take a hard look at it. And then one time when I did make a list, I wrote down things that I wanted in a future spouse, and then next to it I wrote how I'm going to be similar to that. So
Yeah.
even on there, like I wanted someone that was a priesthood holder, and next to I wrote like someone who honors the priesthood, or
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
something like that, where I want these qualities, and what am I going to do to obtain them, or
To match.
get better to match what I'm actually
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I think, yeah, just an important part of making that list is finding qualities that, like you were saying, lead to what you're actually looking for in that person.